So I guess that's what the astrology is for. But regardless, you're gonna meet your twin flame. You know. Anyway, it's just gonna happen. So let's get into this. Here, these different facts about being twin flame. So here we have this black circle, and it is representing source. It is representing pure source, pure consciousness, pure the field of pure potentiality. Whatever name you give it, the truth, God, and all that. This is a perfect, intelligent field of purity, and that has created and maintains all things. And so, this field here is representing, is the perfect twin flame. It's the perfect twin flame of its own self. This is the perfect masculine and feminine being, which twin flames come down to masculine and feminine energies that are equal and opposite to one another. So obviously here you really can't decipher any, appearances of masculine and feminine or duality at all. So we're gonna split this up. And we'll say that one side is masculine, the other side is feminine, and they're perfect equal opposites. But just like I said, it's really coming down to like a paradox thing where each side can be either. So it's just perfection right there. And then we're gonna move on to, is it this one? I believe it's this. So, see, we have these two circles, and let's say that these are, well, they can be different things, but we'll start here. Let's say that this is representing that same black circle as source, but now there are energies that are manifest within that circle, or within that field. And so, we'll say that one of these sides is masculine and the other side is feminine. But again, they can both be either. This can be masculine, this can be feminine. But when it really comes down to it, in truth, masculine and feminine are actually one, and there really isn't any masculine and feminine. They're only appearances for the sake of experience. And so we're gonna go, and we'll say that, okay, so let's just look at both of these. So, you see these similar energies, and they can be representing anything basically, and including people. They can even be representing people, and so these are equal opposite energies, as you can see, and so they are twin flame. And just like I said, they can be representing anything. So let's just say that this is source, this is a reality or some sort of realm or whatever. Even if you want to say it's just pure source and there's nothing else, there's just these two energies. In order for there to be some sort of experience, first there has to be something manifest, and then there has to be other aspects like interpretation and movement and movement and some sort of interaction. Oh, sorry about that. So what's going to happen is that these energies being equal and opposite are going to attract one another. And sorry, I keep doing that. But they're going to attract one another, and then there's going to be some sort of interaction and sensation and whatever else, and some sort of ecstatic or in a very real sense orgasmic experience. And so this is just twin flame in a nutshell. And I'm going to go in here again, and we're going to look at these two energies, and we're going to just kind of use our imagination, since I'm using very rough examples. We're going to just pretend that this is that black circle again, in this source, and it's manifesting two equal and opposite energies. And so So, and these are just very primitive, primordial energies that are just masculine and feminine. There's really no way to describe them besides that. Very plain energies that are just occurring. And so, let's say that there's some sort of movement. They begin, here at the hemispheres of this source, which is kind of weird to say because in truth that's really indescribable. There's really nothing. There's no process of creation or movement. I keep doing that. I'm trying not to do that. Sorry. And so these energies, you can say that they move from these hemispheres and they fill this space and then they connect together, because they are equal opposite energies and they're the only energies they're going to attract to one another. So it's just going to have them move together, interact with each other, and then we'll say that there's some sort of collision. The reason when they collide, they well, first of all, the movement toward each other is a vibration. It's movement and it's a vibration, and vibration is movement is vibration. Evolution, experience, all these words, these different things are really just vibration, and everything is movement. And so these things, they move together, they vibrate, they move together, they come together, and then they create more vibrations. There's kind of a not explosion, I guess a collision, and then the collision will create a so the it's just like any other impact. It's just gonna create vibration, and so we can say that these are two beings, two fields of energy, which every being is. We're just fields of energy when it comes down to it. And so every vibration that's created from this collision can be looked at it as its own being. And so it's kind of like in a sense sexual reproduction. All of this is coming together and then creating a new vibration. So in the earth realm, it's just a little more complicated process, and with far more details. And so we're going to look at another picture really fast. Oh, that's not the right thing. We're looking at this one here. So let's just zoom in real fast, and this is that same diagram, except there's a little more detail, and we'll just say that there's now a vibration being created here. The masculine energy is now I guess is now kind of impacting the feminine energy, and there's masculine energy manifested within the feminine, and then the feminine energy does the equal opposite. And so this is just some sort of movement and change that's occurring, and you can kind of look at it as being snapshots of the very, 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 very earliest movement and change inside of creation. That really all happens in one instant. There's really actually no process of creation. That all of creation is just one single instant that always has been, always is, and always will be. And so this is as good as you're going to get when you come to explaining things like this. it's just something representing, very primitive movement and creation and interaction between the masculine and feminine energies that will obviously create more experience, optimize the level and I guess detail of experience that is happening within this field that is with that this creation is contained within. And so wherever you see these this blue with the blue inside the red, there's some sort of experience going on here. Happening here. You can even look at it on very many levels. You can look at it on very many levels as microscopic beings that are energies that are interacting with each other, or energies in the fourth dimension, or any whatever higher realm interacting with each other that may be masculine or feminine, and creating some sort of new experience for themselves by interacting with each other. Or you can even say this is super far zoomed out in creation and looking down on creation, and there could be galaxies or universes, potential realities, timelines occurring in these lines here, and the same, the equal opposite of that going on where the red meets the blue. And then, there's so many ways you can look at it. For example, you could say that this entire thing is two hemispheres of creation, where one side is the feminine side, a very feminine side of creation, where you're gonna have all this creativity and very right brain type thinking, and really no logic or rationale at all, and over here you can have this very masculine type thinking, where it's just going to be it's all going to be about science and left brain type stuff going on, and there's going to be very analytical, mathematical thinking going on in this realm, and very just masculine everything going on, war and whatever going on over here. This would probably be like hell, and this would be more like heaven. There would be a lot of peace and joy happening on this side, and then they're interacting, sources creating them, causing them to interact, so that there's a mixture of experiences, more optimization of the experiences, and then eventually it will become more and more detailed until you have a reality like this, where you have all sorts of different masculine and feminine energies that are all within one reality that are interacting and creating a very detailed experience. Everything in this world can be looked at in a sense, in an illusory sense, but in a sense, masculine and feminine. What it comes down to is, circular things are feminine. Roundness and smoothness and curves and things like this would be feminine, and straight and narrow and blocky and square and stuff like that. That would be considered masculine. And then it goes into other things too. But really it comes down to everything's really both. There's really no, and it goes into comparison too, where this wallet having this, it's kind of squarish, but at the same time it's kind of round too, and has round edges and stuff, and smooth would be feminine compared to this book over here on the floor, which is very rough, and it has it's very blocky and squarish. And then if I had a ball or something like that, it would be feminine compared to both of those. And then I could have a volleyball, which would be feminine compared to a basketball, which would be masculine. So they're both, it goes both ways. And there's just so much that I can say. But so again, we're looking at this same thing, which is the same thing as this, except it's just more detailed. You just have more interaction of the masculine and feminine energies going on, and you know, like I said, there could be, you know, universes happening within this or whatever else going on, and just the best I can do with the tools that I have. So let's move on to the next part. I'm gonna click here and hopefully I got the right one. Nope, I got the wrong one. Let's see, do this one. Okay, so again, we're just gonna kind of quickly go through this, where we have these you know, different energies that are representing whatever they represent. It doesn't matter what you get they are, but you know, one is masculine, one part is masculine, one part is feminine, and you know, we're looking at this like it's a vibrational wave, some sort of energy, whatever it is, and it's you know, they're connected and they're interacting. You know, they've obviously come together, they're interacting, and then I, you know, complicated it and I made it this kind of circular thing that's going on just to show, you know, a more complex being. That's happening right here, and then I zoom out and you have another being that is the equal. They look pretty much exactly the same, but they're actually, if you look closely, they're equal and they're opposite to each other. And so these twin flame energies, and you know, if they were to come together, then there would be some sort of ecstatic and orgasmic experience, and whatever else. And so we can even further complicate that to say, you know, these you know, within these strands or whatever this being is, within this, if I could really zoom into this, you know, you can say that this is made up out of you know, very many particles, very many, you know, spheres or whatever else, and that this is actually far more complex than it looks. And so, you know, there can be a lot more going on, and again, you know, you just have these equal opposite things, so they're twin flame. And then I'm just giving you different examples to kind of give your brain something to have a foundation on, to imagine. And I guess I don't have the terms for it right now. I wish I did. It's just kind of food for your brain, so that later on, as you go on in your realizations of different things in your life, it'll kind of just give you a visualization to kind of complete those realizations or help with that. And you might see what I'm talking about either during this video or during your lifetime. So let's see. Okay, so this again is the same thing. It's just, you know, I'm gonna go a little bit farther with this, where, you know, you have source here. Let's just say that this is source. You know, this is this very center. This is the center of everything, which is, you know, literally in the center of everything. And, you know, it's in the center of all of your atoms and all the particles within your atoms, and the center of your chakra system, and it's in the center of everything. You know, everything is really the center. It's really kind of paradoxical, but it actually is. And so, let's say that that this is source, and it has created these two energies, and there's the only two energies that exist. And so you can't really just have energies just being there and just sitting there. I mean, it's really just kind of pointless and not doing anything. So there would be an experience. So what source is going to do is, one, source is going to create some sort of laws, or laws, and then one that they're going to be moving, that they'll start to move in some way or another, and then source is gonna have them come together so that they can interact with each other to optimize the experience. And then to further optimize it, he's gonna create a sensation. So there's gonna be some sort of a sensation that's gonna happen when they come together, and and then they're going to be, let's say that source causes them to spin. It makes them spin around as they come together. Why? So that they're not just coming together and touching, but they're actually moving now. They're doing something. So this is just like us in our world, where we walk around, we do things. That's us spinning, and our interactions with people are just the coming together, the attraction, which everyone in your life is there by the law of attraction, and and so also we meet each other, and when we see each other, when we do anything, basically there's some sort of sensation or emotion or something from the interactions with other people, even from a distance. And so besides that, another thing that's what it's going to do to optimize the experience is it's going to make them part from one another. And so this is them being equal opposite energies, and the only energies that exist. They are going to exist apart, come together, dance, do whatever, feel each other, and then split back apart again, and then experience their own experiences as separate beings, or apparently separate beings, and then return to the center, and take the experiences that they had, and integrate each other's experience, and then which is another experience that is happening, and then they take those experiences that they integrated from each other and split back apart again. And so this is really the dynamics of all creation. If you think about it, this is not just between twin flames as being people, but this is really something that's happening on every single aspect of life. And you can just sit there and kind of contemplate on that and see what I mean. So we're going to move on to the next part, and we're going to go through this as fast as I can. So again, you have these energies here, whatever they are. They can be representing anything, and you can see that they're equal and opposite. If I zoom in here, you see that you have, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's darker blue, lighter blue on the outside, and there's darker blue on the inside, with the red, darker red on the going vertical, and the blue going horizontal, and the purple in the center. And then here you have an equal opposite thing, where you have the darker blue going vertical this time, and the darker red going horizontal, and the purple in the center. And so these are twin flame beings that they can be anything, and they're going to come together and do everything that I was saying before. And now let's look at this, where you have, let's say this could be anything, like for example, this could be universes. This can be a cluster of parallel universes, or a multiverses. So let's say that these are all somehow, some way, different universes or something. Just different layers of different universes. We can even say that these are 4 universes that are all interlocked at some point, and these different colors, the white, blue, and red, are some sort of connectedness yet separation between these universes. So this one universe here has 3 different aspects to it. Whatever. It could be, the red is when the universe was more masculine, this is when the universe is more feminine, and the whitish part is when they were more, they're both integrated as far as being, both masculine and feminine. So that's the higher version of that reality, when that whole universe as a totality, all the beings within it and everything, has spiritually progressed. And so that's the higher kind of version of that reality, and then just these different things that you see going on here are just just different interactions between these universes that coincide with each other. And so this is a cluster, and then there's this other cluster over here that is the equal opposite, and it is the twin flame of this cluster of universes. And so at some point, somehow, through whatever awesomeness that the source has, which it can do absolutely anything, it brings the universe together, and then their experiences are integrated into each other. And so I wouldn't doubt that there's something at least close to what I'm describing here actually occurring within creation. And so and then I gotta go into this. Let's bring them down to being some sort of molecules. So now this is something like atoms or some sort of molecules. And atoms are molecules, and we kind of generalize them as being atoms, and the world as being a bunch of atoms, but it obviously goes down lower than that, because there's subatomic particles, and then there's subatomic particles, and blah blah blah, even lower than that. And so by default, really, since molecule is basically just atoms that are together, multiple atoms together, then multiple particles together making an atom makes an atom a molecule. And so or something like a molecule. But so let's say that if you just look around, or look at yourself and look at myself, these particles that we just looked at could easily be what makes up our bodies, and build up in this twin flame way, and your twin flame, you and your twin flame are these particles, and it really does go down that deep. And so there's that, and let me see. Move this light. Okay, so over here we have, sorry about that. So over here we have these twin flames, and they are equal and opposite as far as their anatomy goes, which I was just describing, where you're gonna have a particular height ratio, where and twin flames do have a height ratio thing, where a particular height is required for twin flames, and then it comes down to mass. Really is what it comes down to, is mass. The way your bodies are shaped down to the very atomic level and below is going to be twin flame. And so that's basically what that's depicting. And you see like the guy with his kind of larger upper body, and the female with more mass in her lower body, and whatever else. And I forgot to mention the mass, or the height ratio is something that's actually known fairly well, I guess, in science, where somebody, I haven't studied it enough to know who, but discovered that through experimentation, that if the height ratio is incorrect with people, just period, and not just twins, but just in regular everyday relationships, then the relationship won't work. If you're too much taller or too much shorter than your partner, then the relationship won't work. And if you're the same height, it won't work out either. The male needs to be taller than the female, but to some sort of ratio, some sort of mathematical ratios that only work out. And chemistry is represented in every aspect of life when it comes down to it. And as far as humans go, it's represented in every aspect of the human being. And so the way that these people think and and deal with certain situations, and I mean whatever else is going on in their brains and in their hearts is going to have something to do with their height ratio. Or you can look at the other way, the height ratio has something to do with all these other things. And so the height ratio thing is actually a very real thing. So it's just kind of like an easier way to decide whether or not you're going to be with someone forever, because no matter how much you think you love somebody, it's not going to work out, because it doesn't come down to some sort of thing that you can try to do or try to create and project. It's something that is deeply ingrained within you. It's science, and it's science, and it's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, the way that you were created, the way that your neurological makeup is, I mean, you can do something about it. You can actually do something about it, but I don't know. Well, you can't change it to make yourself match somebody else's neurological makeup in a way that would make them the right partner for you. Because what it's gonna have to be is a twin flame, or some sort of neurologically, I guess, neurological equality. Is it equality? It's there has to be some sort of equation as far as your neurochemical processes go that's going to keep you with somebody. And yeah, so that's what's going to have to be. And so, moving on from that, I didn't have to go into that, but I did, so I'm sorry. But let me see. So this very crude little drawing thing here is a representation of a planet. It's supposed to be a planet, and and so then you see these little guys. One's the masculine and one's the feminine, or you can look at it either way, going either way. But you know, the twin flame dynamic goes down even to where you're born on the earth, when you're born on the earth, and where you're born. And there's going to be a mathematical equation going on there too. And so that's basically all I want to say about twin flames as far as that goes. And now I'm going to rush through this next part. Well, I want to say now, you know, I'm going to say that here's another cutoff point where I'm just going to say if you're done watching the video, then you can probably just go now, unless you want to get into more personal things with me, because I'm going to go into you know, just more kind of personal things with me and my twin flame. His name is Angelina, and we're not met at this time. I was told about her in very great detail by the higher realms, and so she's known about me her entire life, but I've only known about her for about a year and a half, and we're supposed to meet soon. And so that's another video for another time. But I know enough detail in order to give you this kind of thing I'm about to show you in a second, where it goes down into, you know, where you're located and whatever else, and just different things that are going on, and so you can, you know, kind of leave it at that, or you can come with me and we can go a little deeper. So Angelina and I were both born in 1989. She was born